viewers of Civic Space TV, welcome to Women Rise. My name is Naiga Majin, and we are back on this Saturday afternoon. Very beautiful weather. I hope you're all doing well wherever you're watching us from. Thank you so much for coming back to watch this beautiful conversation of Women Rise. Women Rise is always here every Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. Yes, we come onto your screens to entertain you, to educate you. These are very informative conversations that you can pick one or two things to engage in your day-to-day life. And feel free to leave a comment in a comment section, subscribe to the channel, and of course, like the conversation. But of course, most importantly is for you to share this particular link with your family and friends, so that everyone is in the know of what is happening in Uganda and of course in wherever you're watching us from. Thank you so much, and I'm so happy I have a very beautiful lady in studio today. She's doing a lot of work, amazing work with the women, and allow me to welcome her. Faith, you're welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you today?
We are good. Thank you so much for coming through. We are really so happy you spared this time to come to talk to our viewers. Faith is a very busy person. Yes, considering the work that she's engaged into, she's very busy, but we don't take this for granted that she has come through and spared this time for us. Yes, so Faith Mairah is the founder of INGO Female Transporters. She's also a consultant in sexual and reproductive health, and she's trying to break the bias and creating opportunities for so many women, yes, into a male-dominated sector, which is the transport sector in Uganda. Yes, we are so happy, and I'm looking forward to hearing from her conversation and her story. Faith, say hello to our viewers.
Wow, thank you so much. I don't know, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching us from. My name is Faith Mairah, like she said, and it's an honor to be speaking to people that are supporting women that are rising, people that believe that women could and can. And like she's mentioned, it's an exciting time of our lives, because I believe in the past our mothers, our great-grandmothers would never have had such a space to talk about how they're developing their communities or how they're evolving as women themselves. And thank you, Civic Space TV, for really creating this space for conversation, to see that different voices echo for the same cause of us changing our communities, not just as individuals or part of the soil, but contributors to the development that we envision as women.
Yes, right. And Faith, to someone who doesn't know who Faith Mairah is, please tell us something about yourself. How can someone, get to know more about who Faith is and what she's doing?
Faith, I'm a lot of things. Sometimes when I'm asked that question, I keep asking myself, which angle do I take it? But to start with, I'm a daughter of someone. I'm very loved as a daughter at home, and I'm also someone's fiance.
Okay.
So I'm surrounded by love. Yes, but moving away from that, I'm a gender advocate, sexual reproductive health expert, and for over a decade, I've been doing work regards to sexual reproductive health of young people, adolescent health, and youth reproductive health. I've done a lot of work around gender programs, mainstreaming programs with civil society organizations, and I've also done a lot of policy work, advocacy, both at national level with different ministries, but also at Africa level and global level. So I sit in a lot of platforms, or I have been in a lot of platforms that speak to issues of young people representation and their voices. How do we meaningfully bring young people on board? But also women in that sense. How do we break, the gender equity gaps that we have in every sector. And I think I've found so much fulfillment from that work because of seeing how young people rise from timid, from I can't say this, I can't be in this space, to I deserve being here and my voice matters. And you know, throughout my mentorships, I've mentored over 100 young people.
Wow.
And I see most of them are way up there, like in global spaces, in spaces I've never been myself, and that makes me so proud of them. And I know they're probably watching this, and just pat on yourself and say, I'm proud of you. Know that I'm very proud of you. You've been my mentee. And I've also been mentored by amazing people, women, men, and to have made me who I am today. So I've also done beyond the you know, the space that I've been in reproductive health and gender work or youth livelihood programs. I have been in feminist spaces to, you know, echo the same voice that we're speaking to. How do we close? And when people speak about feminism, they want to look at it as something that is negative, or because certain people have made them. But feminism is more of equality. How do we give, you know, that equal opportunity? How do we give that equitable opportunity to everyone, so that we meet them at their point of need, not for them to struggle to, you know. So I've been in these spaces for long enough. I've also transitioned a lot. And I've also been in the leadership space, women in leadership. I've been, I don't know if I should talk about particularly the organizations I've worked with, or I should let them be.
You can mention some.
Yeah,
Think
so I've
you
worked
need to.
with, I think my grounding space in my career was with resource development. I started there as a volunteer in Mayuge district, in Pungwe sub-county. There, deep down there in Mayuge. And I was just, you know, very excited to, you know, start my career and all of that. So from there, Restless grounded me a lot because I did a very different course and I was starting work in a different sector. And maybe before I get into that, so that we go in a very orderly way, to speak about my education. I'm a UPE product.
Oh.
Yeah, I started my primary in a school called Mosese Primary School, and this is a UPE school, and I studied there until my P4. And you know, all the life you imagine in the village, what does it feel like to, you know, run barefoot to school and, you know, get burnt, you know, when during the hot season, where you run on the road and find that patch of grass and cool. So I experienced all of that. And in my P5, at the time, my dad was able to actually take us to boarding school. And we went to boarding school in Amali Boarding Primary School, that's still in Bale. And that's where I did my P7 from. And, you know, I was this child that changed schools in my high school. I changed schools from, you know, I think my O level, I went to like, let me see, about 4 schools.
4 schools.
Yes.
So each class you would... Each class would find you in a new school.
For particular reasons. And, you know, just to set the record straight, I was never really like expelled from school to leave that school. But for whatever...
several reasons.
I left. And, but I did my senior 4 from Theta Hill College, Mukono. And that's also where I did my senior 6. Yes. So after that, I joined Makerere University Business School. I did a Bachelor of Arts in Economics.
Okay. And
at that time, I really loved economics. Like, I loved commerce from high, you know, O level. I did economics at my combination had economics at A level, and doing economics at university was like, yes, everyone, you know. I remember when I was going for that course, it's like people were telling me this is a very hard course, you're not going to make it and all of that. And I even tried to apply for change of course while I joined the university, because I wanted to do BBS so bad. I wanted to do a Bachelor's of Business Administration so bad. I went to MOOC, reapplied for change. Of course, you know, there's that window. And I started studying BBA in my mind with faith that actually we'll get the change. So imagine you study for a month, in BBA results come out, you've not been changed.
Yeah.
You're still in the same course.
And then you had to.
So I had to go back to the economics class. And I'm telling you, the pressure was on. But I also realized then that I am actually a very bright student, because by the time I joined back to be a con, it was like the week of coursework. You know what, MOBS, we do coursework on weekends. So I had to do, like, catch up with the notes, you know, do a lot of discussions and do the papers of that weekend. And then the next weekend I had to do, you know, like that. And that's how, and I remember trying so hard to, you know, catch up. So when, I will tell you this because it's funny. When results came back for first semester, you know how you go looking for the lower marks, you know, there was the list, they pin all of you. So I'm looking for my name below there.
You didn't have any hopes of, you know, being among the top.
So I'm looking for my name below there, and I'm not seeing it. I'm like, oh my God, I must have really failed. I'm not even completely. So I go either fail, and I'm looking for my, I don't see it. Then someone said, but why don't you look up? So I look up, and I was on the principal's list. So the principal, the vice chancellor's list. And I was like, oh yeah. I had a CGPA of 4.35.
Wow.
In my first semester. And looking, I had lost a month of that. It made me believe in myself that I could do that course, actually, because I was already fed with enough fears. There's someone I knew and respected so much that had dropped out of that course, that told me they had to drop out of it because it was too hard. They had to go and restart a new course. So, like, looking at them, and then me, I'm like,
what you got?
But that grounded me to say, I can do this course. I can actually do it. So that's how I, you know, moved from uni and finished school. I was in a lot of things at university. I did a lot of leadership things there. Not political guild to say. I've never really been into politics.
In other spaces,
So but one of the significant things that we did while at campus is, I and 3 of my colleagues in the class, we started the Economic Student Association of MOBS. Called it MOBS ESA because it wasn't there. So we used to do this like clinics, because economics was hard. So we had to do a lot of extra discussions. We call them clinics with my friends Enoch Jumba and Ronald Olimana. There were others that we worked with, but significantly we started that, and we worked with the current, that time Ngobi Ramadan, the PS, was our lecturer. So he was like our mentor that we're working with and all of that. So, and he really believed that I would be that female economist because, but I disappointed him, I'm not a female economist. So after that campus, and of course, I was sure.
What happened along the way?
I was certain. You know how you be, first of all, I was very active in school. I remember even when ministers would be coming at campus, sometimes I would be the one speaking on behalf of students. So I knew that I had made myself visible, you know. That thing they say, it's not about just academics, you have to get extra skills. I was in ISEC, I was in ISEC and doing a lot of community projects, already traveling to different countries to do conferences. On the road, we used to go by road. And I was also supporting at some point Balunya Foundation, doing some work there. So I was really a very active student. And I also had a mentor. He was the HR of Uganda Bati at that time. And I knew I was getting into their graduate training program after university because they had one. So when that year, unfortunately, when we finished, they had, you know, they only wanted marketeers and accountants. They were not taking any other course. So that took me out, like the system. And I remember him saying, sorry, but this is what the gap is. And as an HR, I have to just implement. He was a very objective person, and he really taught me a lot of things, in the work world before I even got there. So at the end, because in ISEC we had where you could get mentors from different institutions, and so I knew now, like, I've hit dead rock. So now I'm not getting employed, and I remember that time everything was really difficult. So when I tell people, I somehow at some point sold Sim to survive. Yeah, so after campus, there was no jobs. I'm trying to survive here and there. I moved Sim at some point, Sim balls to, make ends.
And maybe Faith, before you go any further into your career path, to a student who is watching us, you mentioned a lot of things you were engaged into when you're still at campus.
Yeah.
What do you think made you so this active in your campus time, and any other student who would wish to maybe, follow that lineage? What can they do? Any piece of advice? How can they fully be active and participate in leadership spaces?
I think as a student, sometimes, of course, most of the time your parents are telling you your primary role at school is to study, which is true.
Yeah.
Because you're there to study. But that academic document is important to get a good grade document or a good transcript, a good CGPA. That is all good. But when you get out without any, extra skills, co-curricular skills, soft skills, and some of the things you cannot read them, you have to do to learn. For you to be able to mobilize for an activity in the community, you have to actually go to the community. And there are so many platforms in universities. Like, I was also part of the UN Students Association, So there's ISEC in universities, there's UNOW, there is, cultural institutions that bring students together. There are different platforms that you can get into that actually build your skill. First of all, I know people that got first class, top notch in my class. And we cannot compare in terms of career.
Yeah.
Even the first 5 years, even the first 2 years of our career after school, you cannot compare to, because they were typically students,
Academics.
You're full-time in the library, over the weekend you're in the library, you don't even make friends. You see, sometimes even the people in class, they only come to you because they want discussion, because you don't have any social connection with them. And the moment that need is met, like they're finally graduated, you're useless to them, So the same people that would vouch for you, that would call you when there are opportunities because they know what you can do, they don't know. So I urge students that are in universities to volunteer sometime, to do some community work. The beauty with volunteering, it's an opportunity for you to learn. It's an opportunity for you to meet new people, to have first-hand experience on what actually happens in the work world without being in the work world. But also, most importantly, how it benefits you is it exposes you. It allows people to see your potential. People to see your skills. There are things typically not Mairah can do. Like, by the time I left university, they knew that girl can do this. Like, in that community, they know I could have done this, I could do this. And that's why even when speaking opportunities came or spaces for me to speak, they reached out because I had volunteered to speak. I had volunteered to reach out. Sometimes you have to take the initiative to say, there is this activity happening. I remember the career fair. MOBS has that MOBS career fair for students. I would go to a lady called Prosi. Prosi was so supportive. She always welcomed me. And I would go to her and be like, is there something I can help with? Like, I know this is being planned by the Career Guidance Office. I am not yet part of it. But is there something I can help? Are you looking for someone to volunteer? And that allowed people to, because I was forthcoming to go and ask for these opportunities. Sometimes you're waiting for someone to be like, come and we go. They will never call you. You have to go yourself and be like, I'm here. How can I be of help? And that allowed me to penetrate a lot of spaces that I couldn't have in a usual way. So do not sit on yourself and feel like, oh, for me, I'm here to study, these people are unserious. You know, I was one of the unserious students, by the way.
Your is busy everywhere.
There are some times
Yeah.
where I would come from conferences, like on Saturday morning, and the test is at 9. But I knew how to balance that, because at the end of the day, everyone will see unserious. But if you can still excel in your exams, you can still multitask. And it taught me multitasking at a very young age.
Yeah.
Like, I learned, because I joined uni, I was 19 when I joined university. So like, it started when I was really like young, excited for, you know, finally stopping to be a teenager. I was having all these things in my mind. And at that point, there's so much that shaped my work ethic, my passion, what I want to do. From university, I knew I wanted to work with NGOs.
Yeah.
Like, that, how did I know? Because I was able to volunteer with these NGOs. I was able to go to the community, see the impact, see firsthand experience what communities need, what I could offer, you know, how much more I could transform a community. And for me, that was fulfilling. It was more than any amount of money.
Yeah.
And that grounded me to know I have to work with NGOs, you know. So along the way, I finished all of that. I did a lot of volunteer things between there until graduation. So before I graduate, I am desperate for work. Now I've abandoned the Simpson business because it was overwhelming.
How did you do this? Were you hawking it on the streets?
Now,
or
I was working with my
friends
mom,
Okay.
and she would, you know, do the hard work, and I would do the marketing, you know, kind of. I knew how to make the Simpson balls, because these are things, you see, you don't know when certain skills become a real thing, when you think as a child you're just playing to say who makes the perfect ball of Simpson. Of course, it's hot with the sugar, so you're all, you know, and you don't know that fun is gonna one day be your livelihood. So I think that time it was just more like we're making the Simpson balls, but at that time it actually became an opportunity, an economic opportunity. Yeah. So I go now. The first day I take this Simpson, I go to shops. How do I know it could be Simpson? How do I arrive at even that? I go around. I love Simpson myself. So every time I go to the shop, most of the time it's out of stock or something, and I'm like, I think so many of us want Simpson, and we're not having enough Simpson.
It's very scarce. Yeah.
Lies. I was lying to myself. So I call my mom and I tell her about, Mom, there is market for Simpson, you know. So my mom is like, okay, we can try it. So when I start hawking this, I go to the first shop in my neighborhood that I've been going to ask for Simpson.
Yeah.
And it wasn't there. The lady tells me in Luganda, zine ntungo zononeka mangu, fete tutsigula because zononeka mangu. So I moved to shops. I was staying that side of Bugolobi. I moved to shops around there. I go up to Tintale, moving shop up to shop. And I tell you, I only sold like maybe 2 dozens out of like 30 dozens I had.
Oh.
Like, at that time.
And was everyone giving the same reason as?
Not really. Some people were just like, no, we don't have money. Some people were like, oh, maybe if you give us, we try, and you come back, you know.
Yeah.
So there was just that. So I went back home. The sun was hot. Oh.
And you only sold 2 dozens.
The sun was so hot, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, what am I going to do with all this batch of Simpson? So I go back home and I eat lunch and I sit down and I pray to God. I say, God, I don't know why you even allowed me to start this. But I'm stuck. I need help.
Yeah.
I need to think, how am I going to market this? And in that prayer, I found peace. The stress that I was having, you know, when you kneel down and you know it's only God now that can actually give me the brain to think, because the brain had already melted because of the sun that I've been walking around in helplessly. So I, after that, after eating, I sit there and I'm wondering, Then something happens. How about you go to schools? You try out schools. Maybe those school canteens.
Yeah.
So the first school I went to was St. Chizito, Bugolobi, because it was near home. I actually just walked. So I went there. I reached at the canteen. The ladies were like, "Oh, but these ones are too big. These kids, because that's a primary school, these kids would love something more cheaper." So I had a smaller one, and so they bought the smaller ones. And they said, "But don't they have some?" So I had testing, like sample. So they just like, "Oh, they're actually good." So the lady said, "Let me buy 4 and see if they work. Leave your number. I'll call you." So that was already progress. That someone has bought
4 at once.
I got energy. I got energy. I got in a taxi and then I went to Bishop Spriano Kihangire, that side of Chitinta Leluzira. So I went there, and when I got there, I remember they have a hospital. They have so many, like it's like a chain of things that going on. So, but they have one food kind of staff that manages that. So I meet the person who manages the canteens. I give them sample. I remember they were not there. I waited for like 30 minutes. They came. But as I was waiting, there were ladies I was there with, so they tried. And they're like, "This is really good, actually." So they called the guy and be like, "You come. This is actually good." Same. The guy comes and he tells us, like, "Actually, this is good. How many dozens do you have?" We count. He buys them all. I was like, "You." He says, "So how often can you supply?" So we have that conversation and all that. And I'm saying, he's like, "Because for us, we have the hospital canteen, the school canteen." So he's telling me they have about 3 or 4 canteens at the time. He's like, "But we need to put in all of these. So we'll tell you how they perform, but I think this is good." I'm like,
God has answered the prayer.
So now I got my mom excited. You know what? We need to make more and all of that. So the business actually picks up, really. I even go back to Moob's canteens. And you know, I met one of my colleagues and said, "But one of is like, but how do you end up in Sim Sim? You were too good to end up in Sim Sim." Like, what happened? And honestly, for a moment, I'm embarrassed. But for a second, I think I'm like, I'm making money, you know?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I remember someone talking to me. I'll not mention them because they are very high end, and telling me to come and lecture at MOBS. Like, "You know what, you come and join as a junior lecturer. You are good, you have good grades, and you're outspoken. So that means you can." But one of the things I was certain, I didn't want to be back in the MOBS environment. I'd been there 3 years and it was enough for me. And I remember telling them, "No, I'm not going to," you know. And they're like, "What? So you're okay with this?" I'm like, "I'm not okay with it, but I'm not coming back to MOBS because I feel like I've already exploited every possible thing I wanted with MOBS. And teaching wasn't my thing. Like, especially one of the things I detested is marking those papers. Like, how do you mark? Sometimes it would be 500 in a class, and that's one stream. Like, so I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna hate being at this job, despite the money, because it was junior lecturers are paid about 1.5 or 1.3 per month. I'm not sure. I don't remember. So I turned that down, and they were like, "Well, actually, the principal, Balunwa, Professor Balunwa, could have actually, because he knew me personally, being that he was a patron of ISEC. So, and I was very active in ISEC and all of that. We used to go to his home for camping, for his conferences. So it would have been easy for me to, you know, access him and say I want to. And my grades, the qualifications minimally were it for MOOCs to take on me to retain me as a junior lecturer. But I let go. So I continued, you know, and I reached somewhere I was overwhelmed with the market. You know, when you're overwhelmed, people are calling you, they want to order. It's like you don't have, you're not happy.
Yeah.
You're just there. I told my mom, "I'm not doing this anymore." Like, I'm not doing this anymore. So I decided to go volunteer with some UN entity on agriculture, food things there. And my experience was fairly good, but yeah, not to expectation. So now I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
So we started with the same friends, Emma, Enoch, who we started the Economic Students Association. They started something like Economic Hub, which still runs actually as an entity. So we are all in as researchers. We have all this enthusiasm. We're going to research the budget. How do we come up with a budget? How do we make these decisions? Why do certain sectors in Uganda have more money? We're behaving like economists. So we go, and I remember us trying to really seek an appointment with the peers, and the secretary did not even give us time. The PA, they're just like, actually, she said, you kids just go and I don't know, why do you want to investigate the budget?
Yeah.
Like, so it seemed like a dead end for us. For me especially. I mean, that economic hub has gone on and actually is still doing a lot of good things. But for me, I felt like if I cannot make impact, if I cannot quantify it, if I'm limited before I even start, I think I should rethink this. But then it came to my mind, I always wanted to work with NGOs. I want to be in the community. I want to change lives in the community. So that's how I get to, the restless development application. There's a gentleman, I don't know, he's called Philip or what. He sends it to me and he's like, oh, there's this and restless is good. I didn't know restless at the time. So I apply and then I go through for the interviews. But guess what? The interviews were very strange to me because no more interviews, they ask questions and all that. These interviews had a series of things. We had the teamwork, building spaghetti, dancing. Like there was just a lot of things. Like the interview had more to do with your teamwork, how you relate with people, than what you think you know. And the fact that they were allowing everyone from every sector as a volunteer, whether you're in health or not, because this was a reproductive health program, and we all didn't have any information. But the foundation training would give us the basic information we needed before the field. So I find it very interesting. But guess what? At that time, I'm also pursuing a job with a hotel. It's a very prestigious hotel in Mukono there. So I am between looking for, So after that, I'm waiting for response from both ends. I get that job with a hotel as a guest relations officer. And I had just graduated at that time. And they were paying about 800,000, which was good money,
yeah,
for a graduate. That's very good.
Fresh graduate.
And then Restless reaches out and says, I've gone through. But guess what? At Restless Development, as a volunteer, going in the village, going to earn 90,000 per month.
Hey.
Yes.
Wow.
So 90,000 per month as your personal allowance. They don't give salary, you're a volunteer, but they cater for your accommodation, your food, your medical bills. Just that the money that comes to you is 90,000
per month.
And this 90,000 is something that you're thinking to yourself.
You have an offer of 800
and 90,000.
Yeah.
So I'm really actually puzzled. Then I call my dad. My dad and I have been so close. So I called my dad and I said, Dad, there's this. I've always been a daddy's girl, like one or the other. So I called him, I'm like, Dad, there is this opportunity with a hotel, which I need the money because I have to pay rent, Like I'm in Kampala, I'm choking. The money I made from, my previous shenanigans is going down. So, but I've always wanted to work with NGO. And this is a window. It's a door for me to get in. He tells me, I'm not going to tell you what to do because I don't want you to blame me later. But here's the thing. Picture yourself 5 years from now in a hotel setting and in an NGO setting. Whatever version of yourself you love, you will choose that.
Yeah.
And he switched off the phone.
Which was
So
a tough one.
I sit down and I'm picturing what would have been a hotel. Okay, maybe I'll be at managerial level. I'll be probably earning like 3 million or more. I'm looking at, I would never own the hotel because I'm not the owner.
Yeah.
Then I picture in the NGO world. Honestly, I couldn't see the limit. It wasn't there. I couldn't even see. In 2 years, I could be anybody in this. And I could even earn that
More.
times 10 in 5 years. So I packed my bags to go to my
Down in the
and
village.
I remember my friends at that time, some of them were just so mad. Like,
How
we're
do you
looking
leave
for
this
jobs.
kind of money?
You leave a job to go to.
I know.
And I kept on saying, you people don't see the bigger picture. I do. I do see the bigger picture.
Faith, I think many of us face this kind of challenge. There's one with money and then there's one with no money. Where do you go? Yeah.
And I think it's most of the time excitement. When we make decisions, when we are emotional, whether we're excited, angry, we make some of the worst choices.
Yeah.
Because in that moment, I needed money. It would have just, the basic baseline choice would have been taking that hotel job.
Yeah.
But then I sat down to think about me in a hotel setting, grounded in that space for years, moving from, smiling to people that are being rude because you are in a hotel business. You don't even have, and knowing myself, I'm very honest.
Yeah.
I will tell people the truth. That's something that makes people like me or hate me. That's easier because it's easier for me to tell you that's wrong. That shouldn't be done that way. And it's also easy for me to apologize when I'm wrong because I know we're human. So I looked at it in that perspective, but also looking at what lives am I changing in a hotel?
Oh, really? Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be happy if I'm just putting money in someone's pocket without any other impact. Beyond money, am I burying myself in this? I'll be seated at that desk, smiling to every guest. It's just thinking introspectively and to yourself and say, is this something I would actually enjoy beyond 6 months? The answer was clear. But also looking at, I would be bound in the hospitality sector forever. I did economics to be in hospitality.
No.
That's a lot of studying for.
Well, Faith, how do you transition? You're now into transportation, but then you've been a consultant, you've done consultancy for so many NGOs, so many organizations, international and here back home. How was the transitioning and the experience so far in what you're doing at the moment?
Now, transition is very interesting. One of the things I strived for when I actually got into work professionally and evolve is after doing my master's, which was also its own journey. And I felt like, okay, now, because I always wanted to be a global personnel, global consultant, I wanted to earn with ease. When they say women have to trade family for career or career for family, it's so I traded my 20s to build my career to a certain level so that in my 30s, when I start family, I'm able to earn without struggling to earn because I have a brand that is giving me money. So I worked so hard in my 20s. I volunteered so much. I, tried different things. To start consultancy, from a small to big and then global level was like, it's a blessing. And the truth is, sometimes we want to think it's us. No, God has been faithful to say, I have had so much favor. I don't know how, but the favor I get from things I get into, spaces I get into, people I talk to is unmatched. Like someone will just believe in you. They've just met you. Someone will hold your hand. They don't know you. So that's God, really. And so transitioning after winning, I transitioned from the work world to do yearly work specifically. So when I became the leader of yearly, it was a tasking work. And I know it's a voluntary role. They don't pay you. But I'm not one that goes somewhere to just exist for a position.
Yeah.
I wanted to create an impact. I wanted to shift the paradigm of Yali, Uganda, but also on the continent, to bring that visibility. So that meant I had to commit full time. So I left work full time to volunteer for Yali.
Volunteer.
So that meant I couldn't do a salaried job because I would never be able to meet the time expectations. And also Yali itself, right from structuring it to developing policy, strategic plan, looking for partners, looking for, like, you needed to be there actually more than full time. So I knew my best alternative is, building my consultancy. So I start fully getting into consultancy in 2022 at the end, preparing myself to get into Yali 2023. And to think I closed the work world and before even getting elected, because this is a political position, you have to campaign and all of that. And I was vying against 4 men as the only lady, and I was confident, if I'm in this to win. And not because I am the best, but because of the value proposition I'm giving to Yali. And indeed, people believed in me. I got 73 point something % of the vote, and I knew it was time to work. So I did a lot. But while at that, I needed money because I was spending money on Yali. First of all, Yali did not have money, so I had to invest a lot of my money, and I'm not failing. I'd rather invest money than fail in something. So along the way, I knew that my only way is to get into consultancy. I started consulting and things were working right. And I had yet got my best consultancy because beyond it being a good pay, it was long term. It was a whole year. Usually, I get consultancies for days, maybe 50 days, 1 month, 1 week, 2 weeks, trainings.
This was a whole year.
This was a whole year and 20 hours a week of work and flexible, remote. So it was a dream come true. When you finally worked so hard and you're at the top. So I'd made it. And the Trump administration saying you're joking. So they closed USID.
Yeah.
The project I was on was a USID funded project. And we're working on a leadership curriculum because those are things I do for already leaders, like a curriculum for leaders who are already existing leaders. And we're going to do about 7 countries in Africa. We're just at the planning stages, really, initial stages. And the year was all ripe and fruitful. I would see 2025 as my year. And then when Trump administration closed USID, actually the time he communicated, I was in Nairobi for one of the planning workshops for that consultancy. And everyone had traveled from all over, So even the team from the US had come because I was working with James Madison University, the US. So we were all excited for the future, and we had the news on that Friday.
Yeah.
And we were not sure whether they would close the program or not. So we all came back home. I remember sitting on that flight back home. You know that feeling, you feel like this is going to probably be one of those flights that I would take a while to actually take, Because honestly, the kind of work I was doing, I was out of the country almost every month. I was on a flight. One would say I'd made it, surely, at 27, 8, 9, I had made it. So, but when I came back home, things getting worse, seeing what the news coming from the US, how they're dismantling USID offices, everything started. I started being in panic mode. Feb came in, around mid-Feb, I got a confirmation from my supervisor that our project has been terminated, so is my contract. I have never felt weak in my knees that I couldn't stand. I remember sitting at my kitchen door.
Everything froze.
Like everything in me froze, felt cold. With all the plans, with all the projects I'd started with my brother, there's so much I was doing banking on that contract. And I knew I transitioned from yearly to, back to my world was already sorted, because already yearly my journey was, my term was ending around May of this year.
Yeah.
So I knew by the time May comes, I would have already fully embedded into the consultancy and just smooth transition. Whew. I was so depressed. I've never been that depressed. The last time I was that depressed is when I lost my best friend, Rashida. But I didn't think, when you've given yourself 2 years to something and you feel like finally you're just starting yourself again, and then it closed out. I was so depressed. I cried in my house. I cried in the bathroom. I cried in the bed, in the couch.
Everywhere.
Every corner in my house had seen my tears.
I know.
And it reached somewhere where I said, for how long will I cry?
Cry.
What am I going to do? And I called everyone I could, but everyone was out of work. All of us were struggling. All the organizations, when they say, I would say, averagely, I'm one of those people that is connected, that has met networks, that people know what I can do. So it should be easy for me to get work. But no, it wasn't. Because even with my being known continentally, my being in this space of reproductive health thing, like I have tried to do the right thing and actually get work done. But I couldn't get work. So that month of Feb went, I'm in panic, and I'm thinking, one of the things that is true about me is, if my work is like my lifeline, if I don't have a purpose beyond my existence, I don't exist. It feels like I'm useless. Like, if I can't even take care of me, how am I going to be able to take care of everyone? And people around me have found me as a support system. So all of a sudden,
they're all looking at you.
I have broken down. And people think, they say the strongest, like, that girl is an iron lady. She's this. I will tell you the truth. The strongest people are the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's just that we never get to show the vulnerability. And if I tell you I would cry in that house, and when I get out, I would wear a smile that looks like I have won this world.
I know.
So I'm thinking they're stuck. I'm thinking, what should I do? I think of starting a chip stall. Seriously. I even started doing research. I stay in Nigeria. I look at that dusty road. I'm like, but what's going to... I don't even eat these chips on this street.
Well, like, where will you put yours? Yeah.
Where are people really going to eat? How am I going to be selling unhealthy food to people? So the chips did not work, especially looking at the condition. If you have passed Chirabli into Nigeria Road, the last thing you need is food on the street.
So how do you pick up and, think of this idea?
So I get into so one day I'm coming to town. Then I call a friend. The friend, actually, he calls me. And he tells me that, like, I'm just checking in. How are you? I know this suicide thing has affected you. What? I'm like, well, I'm fine. Like the usual me, I'm fine. I tell people I'm fine. So I'm fine. I'm actually heading to town. He's like, oh, I'm also heading to town. So he comes from that side of Congo. So I'm like, okay, I can take you. Let's meet in what? Nigeria, and we go. So when I drop him, he gives me money. He gives me 50,000 and says, I said, why are you giving me money? Because I would have used the same fuel even if you were not in the car. And it's like, you know what, Mairah, if I would have used Uber, I would have paid. True. So just take it as fuel. So it clicks. Like, yo, I could earn from driving people.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, but how, I'm having 1,000 thoughts. So I call my friend Joan Mugaba, and I'd be like, Joan, I'm thinking of going into Uber. Do you know anyone that that does Uber that can give me some info? Oh, Joan, that girl, I love her. She's been my rock in a lot of things. When I was with Yali, I was having with her in Yali, but also... So Joan calls I don't know how many people and gives me numbers. And I talk to these people extensively. They tell me the do's, the don'ts, how the business works. And I remember getting home that day crying and saying, this is it? Like moving from a global consultant to a driver.
An Uber driver.
Like, God, is this how reduced I've become? And I journal a lot. That day I did not write. I audio journaled. I needed to look back at my voice and how broken I was. Maybe after some time and see if I actually made it. Because I wasn't sure I was going to make it out of that phase. So I audio journaled that day. And I was just like, finally people are right. You have failed completely.
Oh.
Like, you know that moment where the people you never listened to, the naysayers, people who told you
the
all
voices keep coming back.
now all of a sudden they shower down on you. Like, they were right. I'm not it all. Like, I'm just an ordinary person. And after that, I went and took a long shower. And I cried in that shower. And I told myself, this is the last time I'm crying. Like, I remember, I think I showered for like an hour in that hot shower. And I cried for an hour. And I came out. But the next morning I woke up with my eyes all swollen. And I'm like, that was the last time. Right now my eyes have to calm down. No more crying. The milk is peeled. Yeah. That's it. We're picking ourselves together. So then I start thinking about, then I talk to a few friends. You know, you're looking for validation. I talk to my friend and I tell her about it. She's like, nah, that's okay. I mean, Dina was just like, girl, just go do it. Like, go drive. You like driving, and I love driving. So it shouldn't be that hard. I know you hate strangers in your car, but maybe it's time to try something outside the box. So I go to Safecar. That's the first place I went to register. And I get there and I find out they only need Android phones for the app for drivers. I had an iPhone. I did not have an Android. I'm thinking, what do you mean you people don't use iPhones? So I come back disappointed. I call my friend Dina. And I tell her, Dina, I'm just frustrated. So I also called my other friend called Maurice. I called like a few friends ranting out because I needed some money to buy the phone or something. Remember, I'm doing this. It's like no one in my family actually knows because they just, I know they'll be the first person to be like, no. Yeah. So I call my friends. They know what's happening. And then Maurice is like, you know what? I can get you money later. Let me see what I can do. Right now I'm fixed, but I'll see what to do. And then I called, when I talked to Dina, I had already talked to Dina. And then she's like, yo, by the way, I've remembered, there is a phone I have here I don't use when I transition to iPhone. So I think it can work.
Yeah.
So she gives me the phone, I register on these apps. I start driving. The first day, they always say beginner's luck. I drove a friend of mine. She was going to the field and they used Safecar at their workplace. And the first day I made about 300-something thousand.
Oh.
I was like, yo.
The first day?
The first day I'm like, yo, this thing has money here. But here is where the hiccup came. Yeah. That first day, after I dropped her off, I wanted to try, because I was just pairing with this friend. And I was still in my safe zone, you know. Now I said, let me switch on the app and try. And when I switched on the app, I got a client. Guess what? The client knew me. They were Yali. And they knew me as Madam President.
Yeah.
So my pride came crashing down like this. And so I get to call. I saw the number. I saw the name. I'm like, I hope this is not the Ingrid I know. Oh my God. When I dialed the number, it's already saved. Ingrid Yali. I'm like, yo. So she's like, oh, Madam President, how are you? Fine. So she doesn't even know I'm the one who is going to drive her. And I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm your Safecar driver. She's like,
what?
Oh, I'm like, where are you? She tells me. Then I drive there. Then she tells me, do I sit in front of the back, Madam President? I said, you're my boss now. Sit whatever. She's like, let me sit in front. That moment of silence for like 1 minute where I am collecting myself. And then she says, how are you? How is business? When did you start doing this? She has this positive attitude. And then I'm like, well, I started today and you're my first up client. And she's like, this is actually really good. So she starts telling me all these things. God will send you someone that in that moment that has to tell you exactly what you need. So she talks to me and really speaks to what I need to hear. She even tells me, one day you can even start your own transport company. You said it's about do tours and travels. You think, how do they start?
Yeah.
So she gives me all these hopes. And you can even own the biggest. Like she tells me, I don't know Mairah that gives up. I don't know you as someone that gives up. If you build yearly like that on a voluntary basis, what about something of your own? What would it be like? That's all I needed. Affirmation from someone that knows my other life and has found me here. I remember that day on my way back home, I knew this is it. I'm not going to be afraid anymore. I'm not going to be ashamed. This is my work. It took me like 2 weeks. I started posting about it in Yali. I'm like, yo, guys, let me first go make some money. Let me first go drive Uber. And people thought I was joking because I was still the president at that time.
Madam President.
I thought I was joking. But along the way, where this comes, INGO, female transporters, comes to birth, is I meet clients. I ask them questions. Have you ever driven by a woman? Have you ever been driven? What is your experience? And then some of them just being like there's a parent who insisted I should drive their kids every day to school.
Oh.
Because when they get safe car or when they order for an Uber, they had to sit in the car, take the kids to school, and the Uber has to bring them back home because they can't trust a man with their kids. And then for me, the first time they went with me, I brought them. The second day, we went off up, and they just say, you take the kids. They even like your car.
Yeah.
So I took the kids. And then sometimes I'm not around. She's like, you're not around. Don't you know any other women that can, like that question of, do you know any other women? Honestly, I didn't. Even the day I registered on those apps, I was the only woman, coincidentally, at that time of registration. So now I'm thinking, by the way, are women? Now my gender self, the gender advocate in me starts waking up. Everything starts sinking. I'm thinking, okay, why is such a big job gap in this sector? Where are women? Why are women not here? And I'm thinking, is it an issue of safety? Is it more than that? What are the issues that are coming to play? So I start having conversations with, intentional conversations with, like, for example, I speak to people who are in these apps themselves, someone who works at Safe Border. Do you have women there? How many are they? How often do they drive? Like, just trying to find it. Because again, I'm a researcher. I want to understand, beyond my assumptions, what's the reality. So that journal, when I start looking, there's a pattern of certain questions, certain conversations, certain fears, and also male clients. I drove a lot of male clients. I still do. That would just be like, this is the cleanest car I've ever been in. It smells fresh. Wow. It's clean. I mean, it feels unreal. You're very smart. Like, I told myself, the same clothes I was going to use in those consultancies flying around.
And the same clothes I'll put on.
I will wear while driving. And that, people just wonder, like, some of them even ask me, are you just driving this to go to work? Like, you just want to get fuel to work? Oh, actually, I said, no, this is my full-time work.
Yeah.
This is my job. And along the way, I started getting clients who just call me. Like, I didn't have enough time to switch on the apps because I always had clients.
Because you already have
and
clients.
And sometimes clients would call me and I'm overwhelmed. I'm not around. I'm with another client. I am out of town. So I'm like, let me get other women. Let me find them. So that's when, there's this client that actually gets me to actually now think strategically. I pick her from Chuatle. She was going to Munyonyo. That's Munyonyo Mienga. And she goes there. So we find a lot of traffic along the way, and she sleeps off, completely sleeping. So when we get to her destination, I wake her up. I say, "Mom, we're here." Then she's like, "Oh my God, did I sleep? How long?" And I'm like, "It's okay. Maybe about an hour more." She's like, "Oh my God, I have never slept in an Uber. Like, never." I asked her why. She's like, because she was once assaulted in the car, and to think she felt safe enough to sleep.
With you, yeah.
She's like, it felt like home. I even dreamt. To think I slept and dreamt while in transit. It hasn't happened in years. Because she said she was assaulted when she was younger, like at uni.
Oh dear.
Someone drove and parked somewhere in the night.
Yeah.
She was going and actually really wanted to rape her, but she managed to take off. So that kind of just created the urgency of there needs to be a safe option for women.
For the women.
There needs to be a safe option for the children. Because there's another client who told me, who knows a friend whose children were molested. They were sodomized by the driver that used to take them to school. And she found out when it has happened repetitively. And she's never forgiven herself. That's why for her, she goes with her kids to school. For safety. So I realized it's a very big problem, the urgency. And she told me, you know what? So you stay that side. Do you know I could pay an amount of money to pick me? What? I said, but you know, I stay in Nigeria. You stay this. This is very opposite, you know. And she's telling me, but do you know anyone? If you know any women, you meet any women that are this side, I'm willing to pay them monthly to drive me. Because first of all, she also has a problem. She fears to drive on the road. So it's a double problem. And she's like, the ride was so calm, so cool. Like I didn't feel like I needed to be afraid. So that's where the name INGO comes from. It felt like home.
INGO, what does it stand for in full?
INGO is home in Gishu. INGO means home in my mother tongue. So that's when she said, I felt so safe and slept. I even dreamt. It felt like home.
Oh, she even had a dream. Wow.
Yes. So it felt like home. That's how the name INGO comes. Because again, when you're looking for a nickname, something that you can copyright, something that you can, you know. So I'm like, I need something in my mother tongue, but that can easily. But then one day, someone reaches out to me and says, "Hey, Mairah, how is In and Go?" So I'm like, what is In and Go? I just like, your company, it's In and Go. That's when I remember, I realized that INGO actually is In and Go in English. But
true.
Yes. So it could as well go as In and Go. But it's actually INGO, home. So I register the company in June, legally. I register it. I put things together. I start working on a work plan. Of course, my NGO brain is still thinking, how do I strategize? But also, I'm not sure this will work. So I sit on it for 3 months until September. That's when I go public. So my friend just tells me, somewhere of my called Karen. She said, you know what? Just put that thing out. Like, if people will like it, if it will work, you can only find out when you put it out. So put it out. So I put it out that week. And in that, the reception, the people feeling like such a good innovation. I even kept asking myself, is it like, because I was overwhelmed with all that support. Then people started making more like, I need a trip. I need a trip to the airport. I need this. And I'm thinking, I can't divide myself. Now I need to find the women themselves. So I realized the people I knew that I had found, like about 4 people I was working with, because I was working in an unstructured way. Sometimes they also have their own clients. Sometimes they also just don't feel like driving, because driving is laissez-faire. You choose when to. So I decided to send out a call and say, let me try the market. Call for women drivers. I received over 40 applications.
Wow.
I'm like, this is such a big number. And I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do with this? So I reach out, because I've worked with the US Embassy through Yali in a couple of things. So I reach out, I can use the American Center. I reach out, they give me free venue at the American Center for the training.
Wow.
And I invite, that day it rained so much for the training. Only 26 women show up. And so many of them really sent in apologies because it really rained that day. But we do the training and, you know, onboard these women. We do the training on customer satisfaction. How do you handle your car? How do you ensure your car is actually something clients enjoy? Like there's certain things, dynamics, you know, small statements like, would you like SEO windows down? Changes the whole ambience for the trip because the client knows they are in charge. It's not just your car. It's now their car. They get to dictate what happens. So we talk about those small things, and now most of our women, some of them are exposed, some of them have never been exposed, some of them are timid. So the need for capacity building, expose these women. How do we get them to? Because truthfully, a man and woman that have been in the village, not gone to school, all having the same environment, man has better exposure because he gets to go to the center, play Rudo, go without needing permission from anyone. For a woman, you're grounded at home unless you're given permission, or you're going for burial, or you're going for this. So you'll find that even these women do not have the necessary soft skills, you know. So we do a lot of these training sessions, you know, one-on-one mentorship. How do you handle this? How do you handle that? And honestly, it's been an amazing. So we do the branding because, again, I'm coming from a place where I don't like very, very, you know, disorganized things. But at the end of the day, we've come to a point where now we have an average of 48 rides per week. And some of the services we offer beyond normal ride hailing, we do, you want a chauffeur for a day, for a week. You don't have to hire someone. You just have to get one of our ladies for that time you're not around or you're not able to drive. Also, we do car business management. You have a car that is idle and you want to make some money. Our ladies will drive for you, and you get between 150 to 250,000 a week, depending on the type and size of car. And this allows you to earn something, but also empower women to, you know, improve their standard of living, their children's lives. Because some of these women, most of these women are mothers who are trying to fend for their families. And for us is to see how do we also increase their earning and participation, because that's our biggest aim. How do we increase earning and participation of women in this sector? There are 2, 3, or 4 problems. One is safety. How do we ensure they're safe? The app that we're working on, the INGO app, which is going to be the first hailing app for women drivers and riders, has 4 key safety issues, like features that will ensure that women are safe on the road. 2 is the safety issue is, even right now that we're driving off app, we empower women with certain things they should look out for. They need to have certain things in their cars. There are certain times they shouldn't be driving unless this is a client they know for sure that they have built rapport to know this client. You know, there are clients of mine that can come and say, pick me up at 1, and I will because I know them. But I can't randomly just pick
anyone at 1 a.m.
At 1 a.m. So we try to tell them what are the things, how do you be aware of danger, you know, as a woman on the road. So the other is we try to we try to get corporate business from NGOs because there they earn better. You know, instead of waiting for the chance of an app giving you a ride, if you have a whole day booked by an NGO, then you earn better. Something you would have earned probably 100,000 or 150 a day if it's a good day in transport. You can earn up to 400,000 in a day if you're driving an NGO, if you've been booked the whole day or something like that. So for me, it's to see how do we because these women cannot walk to NGOs themselves and get that business. But if the company goes and gets and gives
It's
them,
easier.
and then we just charge them a commission of 10%, you know, just for operations of the company, but also for it to exist. And even when the app gets here, ours is not just to milk money out of. I think as someone that has driven on these apps, some of this commission is ridiculous. 27%. A trip is 15,000. So if you take off 27%, what about the fuel? What about the time, the car tear and wear? So it's unrealistic. So we are standing with 10% because I don't know how that will pan out, but I know for sure there are other avenues you can make money as a company without draining the drivers. And they wonder why people get off app, because sometimes apps are not making sense.
True.
Yes.
I've seen so many.
So at the end of the day, it's a question of safety. It's a question of these women don't have access to cars, so how do we link them to car owners who want to make money? It's an issue of some of them are just timid because of what the environment, they are afraid of trying to get in that sector. So how do we actually expose them enough to see they can, you know? So I believe where we're going, we're in a place where we're looking for resources so bad, because for the app to actually function, we need money. A lot of money, actually. I'm not speaking about small 10 million, what? You're looking at 30,000, 50,000 USD, and that's a lot of money, you know? So that means much as we're looking for here and there, but how do we leverage with what we can now offline to see that we build this community of women? It's not just driving. For us, we say we're empowering a woman for each drive, which trip we take, because how do we change their mindset? How do we change their lives? Because if I always say, if you give a woman a car, you've not just given them business. It's not a livelihood. You've given them what we say that if I have a car, my child is sick, I don't have to worry about how to get to the hospital in the middle of the night. I just drive. If I'm taking other people's children to school in this car for business, my child too can go in this car. So it's just a different 360 turn and, you know, standard of living that comes with just empowering a woman to participate in transport. And also for them to break that, you know, gender barrier. Like, it's just that thing where they say women will not do this. And I've always been that person that will say, we can. And I will lead this. So
and Faith, you're in a male-dominated sector. What are some of the issues you've come across, the challenges that you feel, with this maybe we can do this, and how have you overcome such issues?
I think one of the biggest issues is sometimes the attitude of especially
clients,
men.
The male.
These are not even just clients, even drivers themselves. I remember a friend of mine drives Uber and tells me, you know what, I know you're starting this thing is good, but you need men. I said, what do you mean? You need men. It's like in their brain, there are certain things women can't do in the sector. I said, why do we, like, for example, if a trip is going to Arua, you need a man. I said, who told you we've never driven to Arua? What makes you think we cannot drive to Arua? And yet we've had actually clients who have driven to Arua. So it's like they just have a mindset or an attitude to what women can or cannot do. And that's something that will change in a time when we actually demonstrate that women can. Two, there is a sense of mediocrity in this space. Like, people just to say whatever fire, like, it's like we're in a sector where professionalism is like almost an option. Like, it's optional. And so when you're very professional or you try to give a good service, then a man feels like you're over. Like, I don't know how many male clients have given me advances because they think there's no way she cares this much just because I'm a client. There must be something she's seeing in me.
I think it happens.
Because people are used to the mediocrity in the sector. So when you, like, you know, treat someone so professionally, care about them, sometimes I even have bottles of water in my car. And it's a hot day and I'm asking, would you like a bottle of water? And someone is like,
This
No,
is new.
this is new. So instead of them taking it as such good customer
Yeah.
care service,
Yeah.
they see it as an advance to,
Yeah.
I want to know you better. So there is that. And as women, it's so easy. And, you know, I fear for my women because most of these women are single mothers. They are women who have gone through a lot of relationship madness, you know. So, or they are having relationships that are very unstable. So it's so easy for them to become vulnerable if they meet
Sure.
a client
Yeah.
that is willing to give them ABCD, that is this. And it's so, and the moment you lose focus because of emotions, chances are high you're losing your
going to lose it,
professionalism.
yeah.
So there is that. But also, I think generally, when we look at the ratio of access to cars of men to women, it's
Very
bad.
limited, yeah.
Because you see that men, even when women have cars, they are their husband's cars, their father's
They're not
cars,
their own,
my
yeah.
brother's car. Like,
So ownership is
it's an
yeah.
ownership issue. And that means these women cannot fully participate in the sector. It's like a gendered limitation that is there. Even when a man, your husband buys you a car, they still retain it in their names. They don't hand it over to you. So that in any chance you get misunderstandings or you're doing what they don't want,
They'll still remind you, I'll take it back.
that car is the one that's making you move around like this. Now that you have
Yeah.
met so many people, you think, I'm not your man anymore. You come here, I'm taking it back.
Yeah.
I'm selling that car. And they have the right to sell because the logbook is in their names. So there are those dynamics, and these are things we may not solve now.
Now, yeah.
There are things, but there are things we are aware are factors. And we have to think as a company, how do we enable women access cars as an asset for business? You know, because God knows if I didn't have a car of my own, where would I start?
Yeah.
You know, it was only possible because I had a car.
You had a car.
Yes, because again, it would be different if I had to start looking for a car from someone. I wouldn't even think about it, to be honest, you know, to think about driving. So it's such a big problem. And but also we have a lot of worn cars on the road, and it's the norm, you know. And as a company, we really want to see how do we actually you know, advance climate change adaptation. How do we, you know, use fact like what the app is here with so many avenues of route optimization, ride sharing. Like, how do we ensure that we're not emitting so much gas on the road?
Wow.
And the cars that we're using are actually not. Yes, we are working second-hand cars, but there are some cars they're cooking the whole road.
Yeah.
So, so how do we ensure that we're actually working with clean energy? And in the future, which is a possibility, we hope to have a fleet of electric cars. But at the end of the day, electric cars are so expensive. To even afford one is a whole thing. But to think a company could have a fleet is such a huge dream. But we believe with partnerships with electric car companies, how do we, that are aligned to, you know, ensuring to close the gender equity gap in the transport sector, you know, the gender equity job gap, then maybe we can have a partnership that works for these women. I don't know, we're thinking a lot. We don't want, again, we would have gone for a partnership with a bond to say how can these women access these cars. But again, some of those cars in the bond are as old as they could get, or they may not serve the purpose we want to serve. So as we look into all these options, the bonds, the electric cars, the what, we've seen Kayola bus on the road, you know, all these things. We want to think, you know, sustainably, because our company is not just about making business, it's about achieving the sustainable development goals. The SDGs of gender equality, SDG 8 of economic growth, and dignifying work for women. And we're also looking at climate change. So for this to happen, we are very intentional on who are we working with, who do we bring on board. And much as right now women are desperate to get cars, because now we have 4 ladies that don't have cars yet, and we're bringing on a new cohort, we want to still be intentional on not just giving them, because when we give you a car that is not good, it doesn't make business.
Yeah,
It becomes a
true.
stress factor. So all that is happening here and there, but we are still working. We're still grateful to our clients that are already seeing the factor, that they're already supporting the vision, because we want to become East Africa's leading women brand of transport by 2030, and those are just 5 years from now.
Yeah.
It is just another term of politics. The next president to change. For us, we want to change the whole.
Wow, to East Africa, away from Uganda. Wow, very beautiful conversation here with Faith, and time is not really a good friend on our side, but as we try to wrap up, what are some of the good things you think you have achieved, achievements throughout your life, your career path, but of course, especially with the INGO female transporters?
I think some of the things I believe I've achieved is actually successfully in my career transitioning, because there's what we call the volunteer kind of like sickness. People don't want to transition. It's not that they don't want, maybe there's no opportunity, but also they're not trying. They're afraid of the unknown.
Yeah.
So one of the things I beat, which was my biggest fear, is transition without work. I left the SRH Alliance. I was the youth country coordinator there, and left because I felt like 4 years is enough. I'm out. I needed to think and to say after that, I was headhunted for the next role that I worked at. So it changed my mindset in so many ways that, you know what, you don't have to wait, and because sometimes you're waiting for that job, may not come.
Yeah.
So young people out there, if you feel like you're not adding value, you're not gaining value in that space, maybe it's time for you to try something.
Take that decision,
space.
Yeah.
2 is, I think, studying to, finish my my bachelor's, my master's. I did my master's in the UK, and it was an online school. It's very hard to study online.
Yeah.
I did my master's in public health at University of Suffolk, and it was a very interesting journey. But to say I did a degree online in the UK while working here stressfully and achieved it, it's such a great achievement, I believe. And I think people shouldn't always just want to go to those countries. If you can still have,
you can do it here.
You can do here and get your very credible paper globally that's recognized without going there. And I was on a partial scholarship, and for anyone that wants help to get one, they can reach out to me. Yes, I'm happy to help. I'm happy to refer, because as an alumni of the university, of the scholarship, we have windows of referring them to get the scholarship. Then the other is working and getting to actually global level. It's something you want to think people achieve it at 40, people achieve it. I did it at 29. I did it at 28.
Yeah.
So it's, and most people are quick to say, oh my God, she slept her way up. Oh my God, she did this.
Yeah.
I have heard those things. And any lady out there that is hearing those things, when people tell you, why is it always her? She must be doing something with the boss. She must be doing something. No. If you think it's that easy, then sleep your way up. It's not that easy. So I think it's, first of all, it's really good. I'm coming from, my dad is a pastor. So I have grown up in a religious home. I know what God can do. There's nothing God can't do, There's nothing God can't do. So to see myself at global level, to travel to all the countries I have, to speak to platforms that I have reached at my age is such a great honor. And even when I close that door of that work, I'm fulfilled that I have made it. My dream was to ever work for World Bank. I don't know if it has died yet, but
not yet. We don't want to.
It hasn't died. I believe one day I can still work with World Bank as a health economist, because I thought so. But now I think I'm thinking of doing another master's in gendered economics to see how do we, ensure we empower women economically.
Yeah. Wow.
So the other achievement is, people don't talk about it enough, but the aspect of actually being able to independently make choices and stand for them. you see, as women, we are raised in a community where almost you need
someone to
validation,
push,
you need support, and to think my partner, I feel like I'm the luckiest girl because that man allows me be me.
Wow.
Like, he's not threatened by who I am. He's not challenged by the person I become each day. Rather, he supports every aspect, and he likes to keep it in outside the limelight.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like being able to make decisions and actually defend them, work towards them without feeling like, when I started this, my dad was like, no, you cannot be in transport, my daughter, that's not safe. Like, what do you want? My dad used to call me almost every 3 hours when I just started driving Uber to make sure I'm okay. Like, are you okay? But along the way, I just told him, Dad, I will not change my mind. Like, you know me. If I've made my mind on this, it's this. And he just had to support and pray for me to be safe. And when I started the company, he was so happy because he aligned with the cause, women being safe. The same issue he was worried about me is actually what I want to solve, So he realized, oh, wow, this is actually good. This is the first time my dad is so supportive when they go on something. Because usually we're having a lot of debates. So to think as a woman, you have reached a point where you're mature enough to make decisions, defend them, and go against the whole world for them. Because you believe in the vision that you put is an achievement. And I also think most people who knew me, or people who know me, knew I wasn't a marriage person. So even most of my friends are like, are you sure you're getting married?
What happened?
I have friends who are flying in to come for my wedding because they think, how you're not getting married. But I think it also comes with a lot of maturity because like I said, we have to trade off. I traded off my 20s for my career, and now I feel ready
for this.
I want to tell women out there, do not feel pressure to get into marriage. Do not feel pressure to have children, because the 90% responsibility sits with you. So at the end of the day,
do it when you're ready.
I am ready, and to think I'm at a point of my life where I'm getting into 2 new things, marriage, transport. It feels exciting and also too much at the same time. But one thing I can say is I've never been mentally ready for this stage like I am today. So it's a big achievement for me that as someone that looked at this because of the GBV work I did, there's so much pain I saw in marriages when I was doing that work. I'm finally excited about it.
It's an achievement.
It's a different thing.
Well, Faith, I don't know. But you mentioned earlier in the beginning, you've mentored so many people. Yes, people who look up to you. Who are some of the people that have mentored you?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I love to really. So I've been mentored by a lot of people, and for anyone that I will not mention, it's not because I don't see you. It's because I'm going to speak to people that directly, were supervising me or mentored me. There's a lady called Susan Akelu that was working with Reckless Development. She saw me. There's Vicky Itamba. Those were the people who held my hand in the first place. Now, there's Olga Namukuza. I know Olga is known. She's the current CD, Country Director of SRH Alliance. Olga was the youth country coordinator. I replaced her at that time. But Olga held my hand and took me in every space she was in and taught me almost everything. And that was my first professional job as the youth country coordinator. So moving from a volunteer to national level coordination of a consortium, it meant someone held my hand, and she did. She taught me, and I've always told her that, you know what, Olga, whatever life threw at us, I am so grateful that you saw me. And she came in at a time where someone was really fighting to, suppress me, and that person was her friend, actually. She went against the friend and said, no, this young girl just has potential and you're threatened. Like, she fought for me. Olga fought for me and made sure I actually got where I was in that time. And me just reaching that level, even where she stopped, it gave me a platform that changed everything. Yeah. And then the other person, of course, Charles Wickmeno, who was my boss, Charles challenged me enough to the point I kept on saying, but does this man even really think I can do all these things? He would just be like, draft for me this, draft. I would go on Google. That time there was not even AI, So I'd just go on Google, research, watch a few videos, and I would come up with something, and then he would correct. So it was like that quick.
Wow.
I had to learn while doing. He allowed me in spaces I shouldn't have been in the first place. We would even go to meetings with donors, and he lets me speak. Mairah, today the one speaking, talking about the alliance, the work we do with young people, and that boosted my confidence. It built my speaking skills. It built how do I connect with people, different people. He allowed me. He gave me the spotlight, even if he deserved it more because he was the boss. So, Charles, I'm very grateful. I know he will watch this at some point. And I met Ansi Zomo, who mentored me and even pushed me. I would say, you're too good now. I'm done with you. And, Dina Nachiganda, she was the assistant commissioner at Ministry of Health. She held my hand through all those ministry spaces, pulled me in workshops that should have just been only having ministry officials. But she said, no, we need a youth voice. She always brought me as a youth voice. And I got exposed to policy processes. I supported a lot of all of that. I learned a lot while with her. And she used to she loved me. She just used to say, my daughter, this. And she told me, you know what, I don't want you to work for ministry. You will kill your career. Ministry is a laissez-faire space. You're still young. Go out there, build your career, come back as a consultant. So she was that woman that grounded me in the ministry space and introduced me even to Ansi Zomo, to, all these other commissioners.
Faith, as you're mentioning, these people that really, helped you grow in your journey. I'm thinking of the importance of us, having people to look up to, the mentors. These are people that will keep on pushing you. Yeah, quite important for our viewers and the young girls, the young women watching us.
I think most of the time you want to think, I always advise people to have 3 mentors, 3 categories of mentors. One is above you, someone you look up to.
Yeah.
Someone that you think is walking the path you want to walk. 2 is someone on your level. This is your accountability partner. Someone you sit down, set goals. They have you're all looking at the same direction, but you need someone to hold you accountable. You said you're going to do this. You said you're going to do this course this year. You're supposed to, learn the skill. What is the progress? So this person holds you accountable. Someone below you, especially if you work with young people, young women, because sometimes, now I'm 30 years old. I may not have enough knowledge about what 15-year-olds are up to. The language, their dress code, how they speak, So I need someone to bring me up to speed. And for you to be able to create impactful programs or reach out, you need to have someone that gives you context before you think you know the context. And that person allows you to, So even when I'm speaking to a younger mentor of mine, I'm telling them, you're my mentor, so you have to be knowing more than me. There's so much you might learn from me, but I want to learn ABCD, And that allows you to not be off when you get in these spaces. So sometimes we think we have to get someone,
people who are already
Michelle Obama.
Yes.
You may never access Michelle Obama. Also, let's be realistic to the mentors we're looking for, because you might be looking for a mentor. There are mentors you don't speak to, you don't do anything. I have had mentors that they don't even know I exist. But I just follow what they do, how they do it, the conversations, the videos they put, and I'm listening and learning, because you may never get access to that mentor, but you might have to learn a lot.
Yeah.
And I also still encourage my mentees, like I might be your mentor, but don't feel afraid to tell me feedback. Don't feel afraid to, because if there's anyone who is having more direct interaction with me, beyond my workspace, it's you.
Yeah.
So you must see certain things that you think I can improve, I can learn. So do not think, I am superior, or, I'm just, you're a few years older than you, or many years older than you. But I want you to feel as if you're talking to your peer, because that's the only way we get to actually unleash our worst character and actually learn from it. Yeah.
Wow. Finally, I guess. Because I know there's a lot that we want to know from Faith, but of course, maybe some other time. So, how do people find INGO female transporters? How do people reach you? Maybe people who want to support you. Yes.
Yeah. So to find us, first of all, we're present on social media platforms.
Yeah.
Our LinkedIn is INGO Female Transporters. Our X is at INGO Female T. And then our TikTok is INGO_transporters. But you can reach us out on our number, our MTN number on 0790053 004.
Yeah.
And you can also send us an email on ingofemaletransporters@gmail.com. You can also feel free to connect with me personally on online, on LinkedIn, I'm very active there, so I'll be able to respond. And we would like to work with you, would like to serve you. We will love feedback. If you have feedback about how we can go about this, because we're also learning. We are not experts yet. So if you want to work with us, you want to partner with us, you want to invest with us, why not? Reach out to us and we'll be able to serve you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your last remarks to our viewers, your people, your clients?
I think my last remarks is it's interesting to see your life to be fit in an hour.
I know.
It's like I am looking back in my mind, there's so many things I haven't talked about. But I think what's important is you are enough as you are. You are very important to this world. If you're feeling depression or you're feeling anxiety because of certain things not going right, always remember there is actually a window open when that door is closed. Look at me, who cried straight, I don't know. But here I am today. I don't want to just be an inspiration. I want to be someone that you look at and be like, if Mairah could, you could, because I'm ordinary. So do not give up on life. Do not give up on yourself. And above all, you know there's something you can do. You just have to find it. And only when you look around intentionally, you let yourself look, will you be able to see that.
Yeah.
But as for now, I just want you to know that you're enough, and whatever is does not define you. You are worth life. So don't be where I was thinking maybe my life is useless. Turns out it wasn't.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, people will say what they say, but they don't define you. So don't let, especially the negative comments around you, define you, because you're more than that. And you've always known that. It's just that now you're clouded with so much emotions and feeling like the world has stopped for you. No, just restarting. And I hope you restart with me. And if you ever feel like you need to talk to someone, don't hesitate to reach out, because I'm happy to. And above all, I pray that God reaches you at your point of need, because it's only God that brought me this far. I can't say that I even knew this could be an idea.
No.
How God brought it, it's just different. Like I can't define it. It's divine in a way. So hang on to God. He has your answer. And above all, don't die in the house like I was. Get out too. Like just get out. Go meet people. Go meet people, interact. And don't feel afraid. You're not alone. Everyone is going through something. This year has been difficult. And yet, I would say it has been the most amazing year of my life. Despite all of that, I've had a lot of transitions that make sense, including me being proposed to, including me getting into business, something I never thought I would do. And the reason I hated business is because I felt like business people exploit people. And I love the impact sector, NGO. But now I realize you can do business and still impact lives. So I'm counting on you to be that person.
Wow.
Better than me. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Very beautiful conversation with Faith Mairah. She's a young woman leader that has inspired many women. They're doing good work in a male-dominated industry, but then she's trying to find ways of how to evolve women, engage women, support women, and empower women in society. It has been a very beautiful conversation. I believe we've learned so many things from Faith's story, and I believe we are going to emulate and do some of the things that she has talked about in our lives and do better. Yes, and there is a lot that we can take from her lessons, but one of the things that I really get from her story is giving up is not an option.
Yeah.
Have so many people around you and talk to people, as she has said. Do not die alone in silence. Do not cry alone. Yeah, call people and talk to people. Get out of the comfort zones. Look for opportunities.
Yeah.
These opportunities are not going to look for you. So you need to get out of the comfort zones and get these things done. Yes, it is a festive season, and from here, Women Rise Civic Space TV, we want to wish you a very beautiful season, holiday season, as you enjoy with your family and friends. Until we meet again, see you. Bye.